Hey guys, Jed here from Again Faster. Just coming at you with a video today for you home gym enthusiasts based off personal experience and the experience of dealing with hundreds of people as they build out home gyms. I just thought that I would come to you based off my last couple of videos that I've done, especially the one regarding maintenance and replacement plan. A lot of the very avid home gym athletes, I would call them, have come to me asking about, you know, how can I apply something like this to my space at home? And so kind of sparked my thought process, and I thought that it would be at least initially good to come to you guys with a video purely based around, you know, the advantages and disadvantages or pros and cons of having not just a home gym. You know, there is a part where you can build out, you know, a beautiful, nice big space, but also even just having some equipment at home and having access to that complements, you know, your gym experience as well. So the first pro or advantage, I think, is a massive one. I think there's probably two or three that come to mind when I think about my home gym experience and how that's really helped me along. And the first one is, honestly, it's just accessibility. And I know it sounds obvious, but I don't know if you guys know, but I have a pretty large family, 6 kids and a beautiful wife at home. And so for me, it was really important to be able to just, you know, once all the kids are asleep, walk into the, you know, open the garage door and there I go. There's a full kit and I can, you know, I can carry out the session that I want to carry out. You know, it hasn't always been, you know, a full kit. You know, even before I worked here, I had at least, you know, a rack and some floor and a barbell and some bumpers, just that could assist my at-gym training. And then I slowly converted to all at home. And then when I worked here, I started to build out my kit, you know, a little bit more to the point where it was pretty thorough. You know, it covered almost all the bases that I needed it to cover to be able to carry out the sessions that I wanted. And, you know, as I said, for me, I could train at any time of the day that I wanted. Sometimes that was 9 p.m., you know, like, and to have access to, for me, it was a CrossFit style or functional fitness style space at any time that I wanted in the day was a huge benefit. And I think that that flexibility in workout time paired with that accessibility, you know, was a huge pro for me. So you know, I would keep that in mind, you know, if you have a family, for sure. I think that, you know, I'll talk about this soon, but I think that, you know, self-motivation and then also all the experience and motivation that you gain from being a part of a gym community is priceless, and, you know, really helps with that kind of longevity piece when it comes to your training. So definitely keep that in mind too. I think the second thing in general for me, which was a huge pro, which was definitely like family and social benefits. So like for me, obviously with the amount of kids that I have, you know, I just felt that there was a huge, that so much good would come from my children witnessing me training, just being around a set of rings or a bar or a dumbbell or a kettlebell. You know, it's like, if that stuff isn't foreign, we're normalizing those pieces of equipment, especially like I've got 5 girls and 1 boy, so especially females, you know, we're normalizing what a barbell is and we're normalizing what a kettlebell and a dumbbell are, and they know what a pull-up is and they know how to deadlift, and, you know, they're not getting completely out of school before they figure this stuff out. They're actually witness to it. They can see their parents working out, and they know what the names of these pieces of equipment are. All of a sudden it just becomes so much more normal, and their friends can come and interact with them in a gym environment, and mum and dad's friends can come and interact in a gym environment. So I think that was like a huge advantage, just having, you know, it happened, you know, when I bought my first pieces of kit, you know, limited pieces, but my kids were able to get in and around it, and, you know, you use that language, you talk about gym equipment and you talk about working out just in a normal manner as if it's part of everyday life, and that's something that really rides through with them. And I've found that actually as they've grown older, we're probably 6 years on now, and they're still very keen to exercise and lift weights and things like that. So for me, that was priceless. Outside of that, I think that the last piece, which I found was kind of an advantage at the beginning, and then as I just briefly touched on before, something that I think can be a little bit of a negative or per se, is that kind of motivation and accountability piece. And for the six or so years, probably longer, that I trained by myself in a gym, when people weren't over, and it was me at 9 p.m. putting in some work, I felt at that time that I was doing myself a favor, really building my mental resilience to kind of get in and grind and push harder, without anyone watching. There was no high fives, no recognition, no nothing, just me sweating, putting in some work late at night, and I think that it did. I do definitely see some mental resilience that's come out of that process, and I look back now, like being a part of a gym and still supplementing that with at-home training, that just nothing beats the community of a gym, and especially, like, I'll talk to CrossFit because they're the main gyms that I've been a part of, but this is relevant for most functional fitness spaces. I do feel like that nothing really beats the CrossFit community, and I'm sure lots of other people will agree. Just having a group of individuals act as a team and help you finish a workout, or high fives all around when you do a big lift, or even if you're really struggling, the fact that they're there helping you push through, or they're right by your side hurting with you. There's so many advantages. There's outside of gym community, where you eventually are able to catch up over dinner or whatever it might be. And then there's competition side, the competitive side, where you get together with a group of these individuals that you've worked out within the gym and go and compete. There's an additional level of accomplishment to that as well. So I think in general, there's definitely a place where home gyms can be the only place that you train, for sure, dependent on your schedule and family commitments and work commitments, etc. I just think that at a bare minimum, a few pieces is, they're going to still bring all of those advantages, like convenience and being able to just hit a workout with a set of dumbbells any day of the week, any night if you can't make the gym. As I said, the family and social benefits of, if you have a family, having those, your children or whoever it might be, see and be be introduced to those pieces of equipment, I think is huge. And then in just supplementing your at-gym training is a huge piece all in itself. There's a thousand good pieces of evidence into supplementing, your main training with things like stabilizing exercises and things that are good for your joints and those pieces. So there is a lot there, and I think I still have a lot of home kit. Even after moving house, it's not the exact same double garage that it once was, but still utilizing barbells and bumpers and kettlebells to get at it. And I think there's definitely a place for that in and amongst your schedule, and ideally in supplementation to being at a gym and part of a gym community, for sure. So off the back of that, I think there's a few pieces that I would kind of consider, you know, if that's what you're thinking in your head. There's a few pieces that I would consider. You know, flooring is probably not the first thing that I would even consider. I would go for like dumbbells and kettlebells, as they're the most versatile pieces of kit that you can kind of access, and the amount of movements that you can do with even just those two things far outweighs having the investment that it can be to attain a full double garage worth of kit. So I would definitely look at those types of pieces first, and then, you know, if you are looking to build out something significant, or even just start that process, you know, we're here for layout guides. And, you know, as I said, I've fit out a double garage before, completely floored, you know, wall mounted rig, storage and all that jazz. So like, I have my own experience there, and, you know, we've dealt with hundreds of people that have done like single garages or just half double garages, or out the back decks and things like that. There's room and space for that stuff usually in every type of home or apartment. So but if you have any questions on laying out or getting started on that home gym experience, please, you know, reach out. Feel free to reach out, shoot us a comment down below, or reach out to us via social channels. We'll be more than happy to assist in getting you guys started. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all soon, I'm sure.